Are you ready?
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
I was right.
The Sixers win the game.
Let's go!
I'm the best.
And here are your hosts, Jessica Town and Rob Lange.
You're a jackass.
Embrace the madness. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the full team of the Madness here for episode 94. We are your ministers of madness, ministers of Philadelphia sports. Rob Lange, Jessica Town. Jess, how are you?
I don't think I'm the one that we need to ask how we are.
We're gonna put this out there.
I think you're the one that needs to be checked on.
No, I am doing wonderfully. If any of you watched Jess's episode last week, I was not able to do it because a day prior to when we record this on Wednesdays, my son, which is still weird to say, was born. Luca Jonathan Lange, 8 pounds, 15 ounces.
Oof.
And then he went down to 8'5", which most babies do. That was on Friday of last week. 4 days later, he went back because they wanted just to make sure the weight was going up. He had gained 13 ounces and was at a full 9 pounds, 2 ounces.
Awesome.
In 4 days because he's a freaking tank.
Awesome.
Who eats and has slept through the night every night for the last 5 nights.
Wow.
Basically us having to wake him up to feed him, or well, I shouldn't say us.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not.
Shouldn't say us. And it's weird because when we had the twins, every time Alyssa got up, I got up.
Because there are multiple of them.
Because there were multiple
There
of
are
them.
a lot of them.
So the couple of times where I woke up and she was gone, I would jump out of bed and I'd run into the baby's room and what do you want me to do? And she's looking at me and she goes, nothing. She's like, if he's giving me a problem going back to sleep, I'll come and get you. I said, all right, sounds good. He doesn't. I don't know. I'm finding wood.
Knock on all of
because
the wood.
it's an amazing feeling to have a newborn who is so content and chill as he has been. He got his newborn pictures today, and actually the photographer said he was the easiest newborn she's ever dealt with.
The couple you snuck me were
Yeah, I have a couple
spectacular.
snuck. I can't post anything yet, but she took about 600 photos today, some with him and the girls, and then obviously I had to put my little Philadelphia sports flair on it. Since Jess, we talked about this. Since he's come into this world, his first night in the world was a Bryce Harper walk-off. In which his dad turned the game off after they gave up the run in the top half of that inning. Didn't even get to see it.
We did too.
Yes.
But then we turned it off, and then we're rewatching Scandal on Netflix because why not?
Yes.
So we turned Scandal on, and then I just checked my phone. I was like, what? I wonder if they've lost yet.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's over yet.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, what was it? It was 8-5.
They were down 2. They were down 7-5, and then they won 8-7, right?
Maybe. Okay,
Yeah.
so then all of a sudden it was 7-6, and I was like, we turn this back on, and we turned it back on, and we watched Bryce
Perfect
do it, and
timing.
we were like, wow, this is great.
Yeah. So
that was there. What else? What was the other one? Oh,
well,
Ben Simmons'
that Ben
contract.
Simmons contract. The Phillies have won 6-9. They're up 4-0 right now as we are recording this in Detroit.
Nick Williams hit a home
Nick
run.
Williams apparently hit a bomb.
Roman Quinn hit one yesterday.
yeah.
A bomb which no one else can seem to put a ball out of that infield.
No.
No one else can seem to get a ball. Only, what is it? There's only 5 other parks that are similar in size.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, they said that Nick Williams today was a 25 rows back. It was a bomb, they said. They said he absolutely crushed
crazy.
it. So a lot of good stuff. And so here we are. I now have 3 children.
Yep. You got your boy, though.
I got my boy. I'm good. I'm happy.
This baby also looks so much like him. It's absurd. This baby, babies come out, they're kind of goopy and gross right
Yes.
when they come out. And Rob sent me a picture and he was still adorable. I may have cried a little bit just because I was like, oh my God, it's so cute. But then over the next 24 hours, I got a second picture and I was like, oh my God, that's Rob's face. And I showed it to Joe and I was like, tell me that's not Rob's face. And he was like, oh my God, that baby's Rob. I'm like, I know. He looks just like him.
Well, he's been real good for us so far. We hope that continues. His sisters, on the other hand, love him to death.
I was
Love
going to
him
say,
to
how
death.
are they doing with it? Are they
They're
happy?
fine with him.
Were they upset with the name choice?
No, they totally accepted it right away.
Okay, there wasn't
they're
any
actually
fighting about the cotton candy situation.
No, the cotton candy situation, she understood, I guess. And they were not upset that it was only one baby. So it was all good.
Oh, okay, that's great.
It was all good.
That's hilarious. That I forgot about that. That was one of the funniest stories I think I've ever heard. That they just assumed there'd be two.
They just assumed there'd be two, but they've moved on from that.
Funny.
But they just fight with each other excessively. But the funniest thing about it, and Jess, I failed you on this, is I've known since February
Which is awesome.
that I was having a boy.
You played it extremely well, and Alyssa was right. It's frightening how well you can lie.
Yeah, it was very tough at times because there were so many times where Alyssa would be like, so what do you think we're having? And it was really hard for me to just not come out and say we're having a boy. So I'm like, I don't know. You know, there's part of me that thinks boy, part of me
I told
thinks
you were
girl.
having a boy.
And well, yeah, I knew every time you said that.
I know,
you're
but
right.
I just looking at her, you were like, yeah, that's a boy.
Yeah, and I mean, she did carry it differently, and like I said, I mean, the twins were 6 pounds apiece, 6, 7, so she had 13 pounds of baby there. But this
That's
guy
pretty
was
good for twin, like a good size for twins.
Yeah, but this guy was big, and honestly, if we didn't induce, because we induced on Monday afternoon at noon, we didn't have the baby until 3 o'clock on Tuesday. And let me tell you, women, I am the biggest women's rights advocate now, even bigger than I was before. Because what I watched happen for 36 hours really was, I can't even get into, like, true warriors. So kudos to you for doing that because I know we can't.
No, you give up so quickly. That's why the man flu is a thing. Anytime men get sick, it's like a freaking epidemic.
It is.
It's amazing to me.
I'm telling you.
Have you ever watched a man try to get his eyebrows done? Because that, you will never see a softer state of a man.
Because men should just deal with what their eyebrows are and not get them done.
Have some fire eyebrows. I know plenty of people men that get their eyebrows
I know.
done. But every time any man I know gets their eyebrows done, they're like, I don't know how you do this. I'm like, yeah,
My flashlight's on.
your flashlight is on.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome.
All right, we're good. All right, so now you've heard enough about my life. Lot of stuff to talk about over the last couple weeks in Philadelphia sports, including the Phillies have started to play well.
What is this? 6 of 9?
And could be 7 of 10 after today if things continue on the way they are.
We hope.
Yeah, I mean, they were up 4-0 when I was coming in here a couple minutes ago. As of right now,
has that since changed?
It is still 4-0 in the bottom of the 5th.
Love that.
So, you know, we'll see what happens there. But we'll talk a lot about them here in the early portion of the show. As Jess alluded to at Run This Town 13 today on Twitter, we're going to start breaking the show a little bit more segmented. And Jess, I know you have the rundown probably right in front of you, as I do not. So if you want to break it down for the people.
Yeah, so we're going to spend a little bit of time right now talking about the Phillies as they're playing right now. They're kind of the hot topic. So we'll touch on them for a little bit. Obviously, since Rob decided that his wife was going to have a baby last week, we didn't get to break down our division last week.
It's my bad.
And we talked all basketball the week before, so we didn't get a chance to break it down then either. So we have 2 this week. We're going to talk about the NFC North as well as the AFC South, but we'll do NFC North, and then we are going to hop into a couple, a new segment. I put them together.
Yeah.
So they're there. So we'll do that, and then we'll kind of close out with a little bit of Eagles talk. The Eagles are Christmas in July. Here we go.
I said to somebody, and we'll get to the Eagles talk, but I said to somebody, I used to be the guy like for 14 days was counting down the Eagles training camp. And literally it was Monday. Now, obviously a lot going on with the baby and all that stuff. But even prior to that, like I was listening to right on Monday. They're like, well, the Eagles report in 2 days. I went, whoa. Like it didn't even make sense to me that was happening this week.
A lot of things going on. But yeah, they're
there
there.
Is, but I think the Sixers run made it a little bit different. The Phillies' excitement in the beginning of the year made it a little bit different.
Yeah,
that you were just focused so many different places.
Your focus doesn't switch in March. It's not like March and you're like, okay.
Yeah, like OTAs used to be like, yes, it's OTAs. We're only 4 months of the season. Like, I didn't even think about OTAs this time around.
No, because the other teams actually give us some sort of excitement, and that's nice. It's nice to have every
And it's also nice to know that with the Eagles and everyone has reported. Malcolm Jenkins, everybody is there and accounted for because we have a bunch of great human beings in this town
Incredible human beings.
for the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll get to that. But real quick, Madness brought to you by ProSportsNotes.com. Wildfire, powered by WildfireRadio.com. Not every Friday morning, 9 to 11 at Wildfire Radio. Or just download, subscribe, comment, review the podcast at iTunes, anywhere podcasts are available, by searching The Madness with Rob Lange. What else? At RunThisTown13, at Philly_Madness. You got the Jessica Town Media Company over there killing it. Read our stuff out there on WildfireRadio.com. I'm going to be I have been wanting to write this article that I discussed for a week.
It's going to be a good one. I'm excited to read it.
And I started it briefly yesterday, and then the girls started fighting, and that was the end of me writing the article.
That
So
was the end of that.
I need a little bit of time, but I will get this article done. I do promise my friends over there at Wildfire that I will be getting this article done here.
I think they
quickly.
understand.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they understand that you're outnumbered by children in your home. You and your wife are very outnumbered by children.
Yeah, although there are so many times where I feel like we still have two because of how good he has.
That's amazing.
He's been I'm like blown away. And the girls were so bad. That's why I think I'm so, like, they just didn't sleep that well.
Yeah.
I'm just
There
hoping
were also
it lasts.
two of them. Like,
Yes.
that has to be
Yes.
difficult.
I'm
like
sure.
going from not having children to all of a sudden
Oh, yeah.
having multiple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't fun. This one's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this.
I'm gonna have to come over and visit soon. I
Yes,
need
you got to
meet
come
this
in.
baby.
Yes, this baby is awesome. Little Luca, killing it. So, all right, Philadelphia Phillies, winners of 6 of their last 9. To me, things really started to turn their way with the split against the Dodgers. I know that, after the first game, they lose 16-2 in that series. And I had people, see, this is why they're not a playoff team and they can't be buyers and all this. And then they end up splitting the series with a team that everyone said they couldn't play with. Well, obviously they could.
Right.
And they had a chance to win 3 of those games. They ran into a situation with a rain delay that I think really affected them in that
Yeah, that was pretty
third
bad.
game of the series.
Weren't all of them delayed at some point or another?
The
that was
amount
like a
of
crazy
rain
week
delays,
of rain.
and then they just got delayed last night in
Last night
Detroit.
was
I mean,
delayed.
it's really, I don't know what the hell's going on with our weather patterns in America.
Terrible. The
Lots of
rain's
rain.
been nuts.
Lots, and really has been, like, blowing things over nuts everywhere.
Yeah, the like the drainage system and
Yeah.
the whole idea at our apartment is like not great. Like, I love where we live, but all the gutters just dump on our sidewalks.
Oh, that's-
So
that's
everything
pleasant.
just kind of floods at once. Like, it's very weird how it all happens, but the rain has not been great.
Well, I mean, look, here's the deal, and I know, everybody knows this, but the Phillies, as we speak today, I get it, right? Everyone is looking at the division and they're saying, well, they're what, 7.5 out so 6.5 out as of today.
How far are they back from the Nationals right now?
They're a game back from the Nationals, who were winning today against the Rockies. So they're a game back. But then if you look at the wild card,
The wild cards, what?
the wild card standings are what you need to focus on, right? This idea that it's division or bust has to go away now.
Because
They've
it's not
lost that opportunity. Not to say that they can't, but it would just be really hard to win the division at this point.
That's why they shouldn't have stopped winning before, because it would have been a lot easier.
As of today, they are a half a game behind St. Louis for that second wild card spot. But they win today. That can change.
How far are the Giants behind them?
The Giants are a game and a half behind them.
So here's where that concerns me. So we've won 6 of 9. The Cardinals have won 7 of 9. And the Giants have won 17 of their last 20. So right now, the Giants are one of the hottest teams in baseball. They're playing extremely well right now. Madison Bumgarner is pretty much advocating for him to not be traded because they've been playing so well. And I'm pretty sure we go out there, they come here like the next series after the Braves. I think they play the Braves.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
the
they play
Braves,
the
and then I
Giants.
think it's out to San Francisco.
So
I think they start a West Coast
these
swing.
next 2, and we talked about this before. After the All-Star break is going to be one of their toughest stretches of baseball. To this point. And obviously, the division or bust thing is dumb. I mean, it's still within reach, but we have to, we would have to sweep the Braves and hope that that we sent them on a little bit of a spiral to be able to, make up some of that ground there. But also, you have to keep in mind
the
that
Giants are coming here, so it's,
okay. So but it's just so much bigger than
So I mean, look,
Atlanta and Washington.
you're talking
right
about
now.
3 against Atlanta this weekend, then you get 3 against San Francisco before having the White Sox come in. I'm just kind of looking at their next few games. But these next 2 series are huge, and not just because you want to win the catch the Braves, because you want to keep winning. Now, a couple weeks ago, I wrote an article stating how this idea that the Phillies should stand pat is ludicrous, because they, at this point, are still fighting for a wild card spot. And if the baseball playoffs have shown us anything over the years, once you're in, anything can happen. The wild card team can win the World Series. It's happened multiple times. So this idea that they should just not be buyers, and I don't want to go in too much of this because part of my rant goes into this, but they need to do whatever it takes to win now. This fan base and this franchise has been too inept for too long. Since 2011, it's been an inept franchise. And they need to go for it right now and not say, well, it's probably not going to happen this year. Let's just sit back and then we'll spend more. No. Spend money now, spend players now, and then continue to build from there. You cannot just sit back now.
So I don't think they should sit back, but I definitely don't think they should go all in for this year. I don't think they should do it. I think do whatever it takes this year statement is a terrible idea. Just because I disagree with the way that Andy McPhail addressed the media, but I don't disagree with the fact that he's right. They're not one move away from the World Series. They need several different components to get in there, and they already have these constant lingering injury issues. They just put Brad Miller on the IL, the 10-day IL. Jay Bruce is still down there. Nick Williams has been bumping up and down between AAA and here. You get random things like Cole Irvin bumping up and down. And, they've done so much to deplete their farm system over the years that at the end of the day, if they go out and just get rid of all these players, we are going to have nothing left. I'm not one of those people that is sitting here just saying, oh my God, we need to keep the whole farm system intact and, whatever. I don't want them to just get rid of all of it to go all in on this season, because I don't think, with the way that some of the other teams are playing, I don't necessarily think that they are one move away from winning a World Series. Do I think that they need to make a move of some kind and try to do something and add a bullpen arm or 2 or add a starting arm or 2? Yes, but I'm not willing to. I don't think they should go all in on this season completely. Like, they had their opportunity to go all in the offseason to get all this done and get it ready, and it hasn't panned out the way that we had hoped it would. Now, injuries have played a part in that, but I don't think at this point where everything is, they should just be willing to give up whatever for, a playoff, a playoff game.
Yeah, but to me, you're not doing it just for a playoff game. You're doing it to build a winning culture. And, look, another year of no playoffs to me is a failure.
I agree.
I think you have to look. They showed me that they want to make moves. They could say whatever they want. Andy McPhail can say whatever he wants, but Andy McPhail has become a talking head to me. Yeah. I don't like the guy. I don't like his sloth approach, I'll call it, because everything with him is just like move in total slow motion. And the fact that he kind of resembles a sloth a little bit might have come into that. But you go out and you sign a bullpen arm, or you trade for a bullpen arm for cash considerations. Then you, what was it, Miller, I guess, or Moore or something like that. You bring in this Drew Smiley, who I thought had a very nice first start for the team. To me, they are moves that you don't make those moves to say, well, we're kind of trying, but we're not trying. You make those moves of saying, okay, we're going to do these because this move is going to come. And there's a couple guys out there, and people are worried about the 1-year rental. Well, there's a couple guys out there who it's not 1-year rentals.
I'm not worried about the 1-year rental. I'm worried about just depleting everything to win for a couple years and then all of a sudden be absolute crap again.
Right, but
I don't want that.
Here's I don't want to go into because we're teetering into my rant right now, and I'm trying not to teeter into the rant at this point. But I understand what you're saying. But
who would you be willing to part with? Like what would you be willing to? Because I don't want to get into your rant. I want to ask you like serious questions.
Yes.
Who are guys that you'd be willing to part with for somebody, and who would you be willing to part with them for?
Well, some of the names that I like pitching wise, I know that like ESPN put up an article that the Phillies' biggest need is a center fielder. Yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't think that's the biggest need. It's arms are the biggest need for them. I love the report I heard today about Bauer out in Cleveland, who's under contract for a couple years. I like the idea of Stroman. I think he's in Toronto. Even the kid that pitched against them last night for Detroit, this Boyd, is coming up. Now, granted, some of these guys, like Boyd, I know Detroit is asking for a huge haul for him, and they want major league ready young stars, they call it. But let's put it this way. Guys on the major league roster that I'd be willing to move, and I know it's not going to be, well, one will be popular. I'm okay moving Franco at this point. To be very honest with you, I would not mind moving Cesar Hernandez and let Kingery go back to second base, which is his position. Hazley maybe over to center field. Now, this all is Jay Bruce coming back and things of that nature that would have to fall into place. But if it could get you one of these pitchers to add a Cesar Hernandez in there, I'd do it. As far as the guys down in the AAA, all I'm consistently told by everyone, farm club, the farm system's terrible. And I'm not disagreeing with them. But then I hear those same people say, you can't trade anybody in the farm system. Well, if it's that bad, right, then why, like I understand that there's some 19-year-old pitcher down there or 20-year-old pitcher down there that could be really good in 6 years. I'm not worried about that right now. And if you've watched the Yankees retool themselves and the Red Sox and all that, they trade their farm system when they need to, and then they replenish it. The problem is the scouts that are getting these kids in young to replenish suck here.
Yeah.
They're terrible here.
Yeah. My
point, and I am so close to teetering, I'm trying not to, but I could understand not wanting to give up a kid like Baum, who's down there just crushing the ball.
Yeah.
I can understand not wanting to give Hazley away, but if I wouldn't be 100% against him.
I'm more worried about giving up. Is it Bohm or Baum? I've heard both.
I've heard both. He's the one. If there's one guy that I'd say I don't want to give up, it's him. But then it reminds. See, I get reminded. No, I'm not going to say that. We're going to save that for the rant.
Save that. I was just wondering.
But I
don't know if I want that kid, that Bauer kid.
I know the problem, but my God, is he a good pitcher?
Yeah, but we already have enough on our plate right now with, I don't need someone who's racist and homophobic and someone who beats women. I can't deal with all of it at once. Can we just handle one of the situations first? Look, when I made that I'm not making the comment from personality side of things. I know.
And
I know, but we had to throw it out there.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Yeah. Look, there are some pitchers. There's Mike Minor that's out there. That name's been thrown around. Madison Bumgarner's pretty much done now because it sounds like he's going to stay in San Francisco. I'd be very surprised if the Phillies don't make a move for an arm. The other thing is, if they can string some wins together, we know that confidence breeds confidence, right? If you start doing things the right way, your team gets more and more confident. They start playing better. On top of this, Bryce Harper has been really good as of late. I don't care what anybody else says. They say whatever the hell they want. They're idiots. Rhys Hoskins, very good.
Really good.
Okay. Scott Kingery is drawing more walks than he ever has. You're getting production from guys that maybe, Gene Segura. I love Gene Segura. I don't care if anybody says I love Gene Segura. JT Realmuto maybe hasn't been his best season, but
Homer today.
He's been good. He's been good enough for me.
Homer today.
So to me, you got to. I throw around the term all in lightly, and I'm not saying that like, oh, this team's this close to the World Series, but I'm saying it from baseball and hockey are two sports that I look at and say, man, if you make it to the tournament, anything can happen. So that's why. And look, if you throw another one or two starter up there and you go Nola, him, and then Arrieta, I know he hasn't been great, but is your third starter in the postseason? I like your odds.
Yeah.
I like your odds.
I don't disagree with you. I get concerned with Arrieta just because you don't know what you're going to get from
Agreed.
him. It's all, and it's the bone spur. It's part of it. We don't know if you're going to get 6 really good innings out of him like the other day, or if you're going to get, or if he can only go 2 and lets up like 6 runs. Like, you don't know, and you don't know what's going to happen. And like, there's 2 ways to fix that, and it's surgery or rest. And either one of those things are not going to be able to happen right now if he wants to keep playing, obviously. So, there are a lot of moving parts to be able to even make it to playoffs. And I agree with you. Not making playoffs is an absolute L on this year, like a giant one. And I just think that, I get what you're saying with, like, I think we are more or less on the same page with the kind of all-in situation.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you want to see him make moves. You don't want to see him quit halfway through the year because that could have a domino effect going down, and all of a sudden the team's going to quit as well. And that's one thing. You don't want to give up, but you also don't want to go all in when, there are a lot of things that have to work together for it to work correctly.
See, and here's like where I get driven nuts by people who are like micro. What am I trying to say?
Also, this ball was crushed by Nick Williams. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Crushed.
But
Just
like
watch the video.
here's this guy who tweets out JT Realmuto now hitting 267 after that strikeout with a WRC of 93. Jorge Alfaro is hitting 273 with a WRC of 100. Realmuto is the better catcher and base runner, but given the Phils gave up Sixto, this trade isn't looking great. Who the hell cares about Sixto? Stop.
Is that a real tweet?
Yes.
Is that real life?
And it's from this guy who, he's got like 7,000 followers. He's the news manager for Westwood One News. And he's wrote a bunch of stuff. And he's good. But like, why are we doing that? Are you really trying to compare Jorge Alfaro to JT Realmuto? Jorge Alfaro has 0. He's playing in Miami where 10 people come to his games. It's like playing a little league friggin' game. Of course he's in there. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If he was here, he'd be batting Greg Knapp numbers. That's just the facts of life.
His name's Andrew Knapp.
Yeah, him too. Who the hell's Greg Knapp?
I have no idea.
His brother, I guess. I don't know. I get so mad at these people. Just leave it alone.
I'm with you.
Like, oh my God.
You know who else is completely irrelevant we've heard nothing about? Manny Machado. The hell's he doing?
Oh, someone tweeted out today, his numbers are better than Bryce's.
That's also no one goes to their games.
Yeah.
They play for
Which is why he decided to play out there, because no one was ever going to. Yeah, it's,
He can pocket his check and literally no one cares.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
I just wondered because I have heard 0 things about him because he's absolutely irrelevant in the world.
Oh, man. It's just so frustrating. I'm just so frustrated.
Yeah.
I really am. And I hate being that guy. But, like, I can't stand, like, JT Realmuto has been very good, has been good for this team. I know he hasn't been as good as people want him to be, and I get that. But don't start comparing his stats to Jorge Alfaro. Just
of all
stop.
people.
Just stop. And then say, oh, we gave up Sixto.
Shut up.
And I asked this because I truly don't know. Is he pitching for the Marlins or he's still down in
I have no
minors?
idea.
Okay, which means he's not doing anything special. Okay? He's not doing anything special. So don't tell me that he is. Thank you for coming to my talk.
Thank you for coming to my talk.
Oh, that's
Welcome in.
Yeah.
Welcome in.
All right.
Yeah, no, he
He's not doing anything. Phillies are up 4-0 still. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. I'm just waiting. I want to try and see his home run. Normally they put him up here, and they're not putting it up. I gotta see Nick's home run.
Yeah, no, he has not graduated from the minor leagues yet.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're right. It's a shame we get. Oh, I can't believe
What
we
a
get
goddamn
Sixto,
shame that
who's
was.
still in the minors. Who the hell cares?
What are
I'm of the firm belief. Look, I will. Not going to do it yet. Not going to do it
Nope.
yet. We're gonna
Keep yourself together.
We're going to go to it later.
You'll make it.
Although I have to go everything off the cuff today because, as you can see, I came in here about 2 minutes before the show and have.
I don't
had,
think anyone knew that. You just put that out there.
Well, not that part, but that I have 0 notes prepared. A little crazy. Newborn photo day, so it's a little bit crazy at the household. Yeah. All right. So what's next, Jess?
Well, hold on. We have 2 more minutes.
Oh.
Real quick.
Jess has it timed out, guys.
I do. Well,
She is on top of her. You know
trying to
what?
make this go well. So JT Realmuto has been in. Let's see. He played. Okay, so he came up from the minors in 2014, and he played in 11 games. Since then, obviously, he's been in the majors from 2015 on. He has 11 home runs this year, which is 1 more than his entire season total in 2015. Tied for his season total in 2016. And in 2017, he hit 17 home runs. In 2018, he hit 21 home runs. So he's doing just fine. In 2015, he had 47 RBIs. 2016, he had 48 RBIs. 2017, 65. 2018, 74. So far this year, 45.
Okay. So a little lower than the number, but keep in mind that he's hitting.
There's still a lot of time left.
There's still a lot of time left, but keep in mind who he's hitting behind. Okay, he's been hitting behind 2 RBI machines. He's been hitting behind guys like Bryce Harper and Rhys Hoskins, who have been doing a fair bit of driving in runs themselves.
Yeah.
And that plays a role. His role is not to be the star hitter on this team. Okay? Think about his defense.
It's to be the best catcher in baseball.
Yeah. His defense has been incredible. Incredible. He throws guys out where it looks like he has no chance to throw them out, and he's gunning them. So we got to stop this. We got to. He made a hell of a tag last night in the bottom of the 13th.
That
It's a great throw, but an even better tag by him.
That was crazy.
To save the game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean,
They don't win that game
stop.
without JT Realmuto.
No, just stop.
Simple as that. It was after the 12th inning. Joe and I were like, "It's time. I'm tired." We went to bed, and promptly both opened up the ESPN app and watched the game cast until the game.
I was watching, obviously doing a lot of binge watching lately of shows, and I was put on a show, and I had checked back in the 13th. I was like, all right, no score. I better turn it off now because I'll be the one who blows it for them. So went back to my show. Okay, Jess, what's next?
Next, we have our divisional breakdown. We're going to start with our divisional breakdown, and we're going to go NFC North.
NFC North, an interesting division.
What are you doing?
I'm playing some Sunday night music for us. Just a little behind-the-scenes music.
Oy.
No? You don't like a little behind-the-scenes music?
I just don't like what you've chosen. But
I didn't mean to choose that one. That's not what I thought I was choosing. I'm just going to choose
it's fine. So we're going to start with the NFC North.
All right, NFC North. I'm opening up my files as we speak.
So let's see. So you've got and for those who don't know, the NFC North: Vikings, Packers, Bears, Lions. Last year, obviously, the Bears won the division in a thorough crushing of the Vikings to end all of their season dreams of last year.
In Minnesota, might I add.
In Minnesota.
To send the Eagles to the
Sixers,
postseason.
yes. To send the Sixers to the postseason. That's exactly what happened.
Did. Shut up.
So the Vikings this year in the draft, they took a center, a tight end, and a guard. They re-signed Anthony Barr, lost Sheldon Richardson, Latavius Murray, and Andrew Sendejo, obviously. The Packers, they drafted Rashawn Gary, Darnell Savage. They lost Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, Muhammad Wilkerson, and Kentrell Bryce. And they're keeping what's that safety's name? He's one of like the top 10 highest paid.
Who are you bouncing around teams right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so confused. I was like, wasn't she just talking about the Vikings?
Jesus. Please figure it out. Please.
Yeah, you got to give me some time here.
Have I given you enough time?
They brought in Adrian Amos.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
And Mercedes Lewis. And then moving on to the Bears. So obviously they lost Jordan Howard and Adrian Amos, but they got David Montgomery. So they got a guy in there who is a very kind of similar body type, similar skill set as Jordan Howard in there. They also they got HaHa Clinton Dix, Mike Davis, Cordero Patterson.
It's kind of funny how the Bears and Packers, I know that HaHa went to Washington first, but they kind of just like swapped safeties.
Yeah.
Like Amos goes to Green Bay.
Yeah.
HaHa with a little detour off in Washington and now to Chicago.
He realized he didn't want to stay there.
He
any
realized
longer.
nobody wants to stay with the
Nobody
Washington
wants
Redskins.
to be there. And then you have the Lions, who drafted a tight end and a linebacker. Apparently, they got the best tight end in the draft class, but that's irrelevant because the Lions are irrelevant.
They shouldn't be irrelevant.
They got Trey Flowers, Danny Amendola, Jesse James, and C.J. Anderson, and then they lost Ziggy Ansah.
Why? What is their obsession with? You know what? They are the team that always drafts tight ends and just like has a bunch of tight ends who never do anything.
I got nothing for you.
Hopefully, T.J. Hawkinson does something for him.
I don't know. So, I mean, in my opinion, this should be a good division. This should be a competitive division.
It will definitely
It should
be
be
competitive.
interesting. It was supposed to be competitive last year. It wasn't.
Yeah,
but
and I mean the reason it wasn't last year, if you look, I mean Minnesota goes 8-7-1, and
so
really
close to my 8-8 prediction. It's going to be shockingly similar to my prediction once again.
Shaka. But look, Green Bay went 6-9-1, but a lot of that had to do with it was just a tumultuous situation there last year. You had the injuries.
Aaron Rodgers we thought Aaron Rodgers was dead in the water that first game.
Yeah, first game of the season we thought he was dead. Look, and then everything with McCarthy, and then Rodgers is a bad teammate, and you name it, and this and that, and it's just like
Joe Santoliquito found his way into their locker room too, apparently.
Speaking of Joe Santoliquito, I have to just bring this up. A few weeks ago, me and Alyssa went and saw John Dornbos, saw a show down in Atlantic City. Awesome show. I mean, just really compassionate and all this stuff. And
yeah, he just had a kid too.
Yes, he did. Right before that show, as a matter of fact. Actually, a couple months before that. But he started talking about something, being told information that blew his mind, like that about his team and all this, and being a saint and like all that kind, getting this magical. You know who the reporter was?
Joe Santoliquito.
Joe Santoliquito. Joe Santoliquito.
Joe
Santoliquito was talking to John Dornbos about something, and talked about something along the lines of, this was after he had to retire and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
He had interviewed Dornbos when he was a rookie with the Eagles. And he mentioned something about his mom, and his mom talking about Eagles wings and something like this, and a saint on Eagles wings or something.
Yeah.
And how it all kind of came back around to save his life. I can't remember, but I was like, Joe Santoliquito. He has done some good, apparently. Because John Dornbos...
He's blocked me on Twitter.
Well,
apparently.
Once again,
I found that out the other day.
Once again, he's done some good. Listen, if I was someone you were going after on here, on Twitter, I'd have to block you too, because you're relentless.
I am relentless. People block me very frequently because I am relentless.
Yeah, you just keep it up. So I can't necessarily blame people.
And people are like, why do you listen to people? I'm like, because I need to win. I don't understand what is your question. I need to win.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's start breaking these teams down. You want to start with Detroit?
Sure, why not?
We're going to Detroit.
We'll start
here.
with the lowest level of
the lowest level. They were
first.
6-10 last year. Yes.
Yeah.
6-10. Their issue has always been to me, they don't protect Matthew Stafford.
That's why he was hurt
He
so
gets
often.
killed.
Yeah, that man, I've never seen a person get their you-know-what rocked like Matthew Stafford. Who were they playing this year? And I thought someone killed him. Was it the Jets? Was it when the Jets went off on Monday Night Football the first week of the season? Mm-hmm. Matthew Stafford got destroyed so many times during that game. It was amazing.
And so there's that issue. There's it's just a spinning wheel of running backs there to just come in. Oh, maybe he's going to be good. No, he's not going to be good. Maybe he's going to. Now they bring C.J. Anderson in to that fold. They tried to spend some money on the defense, spent a lot of money to get Trey Flowers away from New England. Mm-hmm. You're always suspect about a guy leaving New England. Why didn't the Patriots spend that much money on him?
Well,
Matt Patricia knows him. But, when the Patriots kind of let a guy go, you start to think,
Maybe.
maybe that was the right move.
You have to trust the Patriots on that.
Yes.
Like, at the end of the day, when a move like that happens, you can't wonder why the Patriots let him go. You have to be like, yeah, I'm going to trust their judgment on this before anyone else's. Like, find me a time when that, like, didn't work out. Like, when it worked out better for the team. Well, I guess LeGarrette Blount is, like, one.
LeGarrette Blount is one. And
LeGarrette Blount is one.
I mean, granted, the Eagles just had all the mojo going with them this year, and Chris Long, I guess, is the other one because he came in and.
Okay. Okay.
But literally, it was two that,
Were there
most
any
of the
others
time.
that worked out?
Just
Like,
think of some of the guys that they've let go, and people are like, "What are you nuts?"
yeah.
And they've done nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Look, I look at this team and say, you were 6-10 last year.
You might be 6-10.
You might be 6-10. If I'm going to be generous, 7-9, because Detroit's always this team that finds a way to win games. You're like, how the hell did Detroit just win that game? A la Ryan Matthews fumble.
I was going to say 2016.
Yeah, I mean, they find ways to win these random games. I'm sure they'll give their division fits. They always seem to. I mean, they don't win the games, but they always seem to give all their division teams a run in the game. So I'll give them 7-9. I'll give them 7-9 this year.
I need a pen. I didn't get. That's the one thing I didn't. I'll find one.
I don't really have anything to write on, so it's literally pointless for me to have a pen right now.
It makes you look official.
Okay. I have my, who was the old guy on it? Digger Phelps used to have the Sharpie when he covered college basketball on ESPN. Why did I just say basketball that way?
Did you say it weird?
Yeah, it was very strange. You have to listen on the playback.
All right.
All
right.
All right, so I got them at 7-9. Where are you with them?
I got them at 6-10. They're about this. They're about as good and as bad as they were last year.
Fair enough. So we'll go up one team. Green Bay, who was 6-9-1 last year. I expect a better Green Bay team this year. However, when you have a new coach, it's always a little bit what's going to happen now.
With a ruptured Achilles, by the way. Did you see that?
The coach ruptured his Achilles?
Yes, playing in a charity softball game. He ruptured his Achilles.
Matt LaFleur, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He's the McVay disciple.
One of the many.
My God.
Had a cup of coffee with
so many disciples of the two-year wonder, Sean McVay, who has lost Doug Peterson both times. He's faced him and played it, came up
3 points.
Real tiny in the Super Bowl. Real tiny.
I'm going to see if I can try to find a way to have a cup of coffee with Sean McVay so I can get an NFL head coaching job too.
Yeah. It is interesting though, right? Green Bay for many, 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 many years was the team that did nothing in free agency. They used their draft picks and they just kind of built from within and went about it that way. This year was different, right? This year they go out, they spend money on guys like Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Adrian Amos. They bring in a guard. They let a couple of the older guys that have been here a while walk. Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, they're gone now. I expect the Packers to be back in the talks for the division. I think this team, when you have a healthy Aaron Rodgers, can win every week. I'm not saying they will, but they can win every single game.
There's always that chance.
I like Aaron Jones. I believe he's still going to be their running back. Now, I don't think they brought anybody in. I'm looking at their draft picks. Aaron Jones, I think, is a player in this league. Excuse me. I like this team. I think defensively they've gotten a little bit better. They've gotten a little bit younger, and I think that's important for them. And look, it's a tough place to go play. It's tough to go play in Green Bay. Those fans are into it, especially as the weather turns cold. Tough place to win. This team's going to make a big jump. I'm going to go out. I'm going to say this team's 10-6 this year.
So I have them at 9-7.
Okay.
I think they're the same thing, but there are a couple games in there that are going to be a maybe. Partly because of the head coach thing, partly because of the I think
the head coach is the only thing that makes me weary of my choice.
Yeah, so the head coach is one for me, and then another thing for me is, I paid really close attention last year after, one of the things that I've talked about with a few different people is, what are some of the quarterbacks in the league where, if you're a wide receiver or a tight end or someone, you have a ball hit you in the hands and you drop that ball, what are some of the scariest quarterbacks to go back into the huddle to?
The best ones.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think, you go back in the huddle to Drew Brees. Is Drew Brees really going to yell at you? Probably not. I don't see Drew Brees.
Tom will.
Tom will.
Tom will bite your head off.
And I think Aaron Rodgers will.
And I think Aaron Rodgers will bite your head off.
I think those are the guys. There might be a few other ones that, just have hot tempers. I think Baker Mayfield would be one to do it. Phillip Rivers would be one to do it because Phillip Rivers screams
I love
freaks
Phillip
out.
Rivers. I really
cries.
do. And it's amazing because normally I hate that guy, that type of guy. There's something about Phillip Rivers where I'm like, I love you. I just love everything
I feel
about
the
him.
exact opposite. I just want to punch him in the face.
I love everything about Phillip.
But, yeah, so I just think that, a couple different guys getting a little bit younger and maybe a little less disciplined on the defensive side as well. I just think that there's a little bit more wiggle room. Yes, with Aaron Rodgers, they have a chance to win every week. There's an opportunity for them to win every week. I just think that they're going to fall a little bit short on some of those, more than they typically would, just on a couple of those different.
I can't argue that.
I mean, we're in the same general region with it. So you have them at 10-6.
I have them at 10-6, and you can actually mark this down now. It's going to be a little bit of a giveaway. They win the division, so they're my division winners this year.
Got it.
Okay.
So I do not have them winning the division, but I have them losing the tiebreaker of it.
Okay.
I have an even record with them, but I have them losing the tiebreaker.
I have an even record too, but winning a tiebreaker. So
Interesting.
We'll get to that in a minute.
You tell me it's Kirk Cousins, I'm going to throw something at you.
I should do it just to piss you off.
If you have Kirk Cousins winning that tiebreaker, I'm going to chuck everything I physically can at you.
Look. Let's get into the Minnesota Vikings. I think things really got out of whack for them last year. I think after the year before, they go to the conference championship game.
Pause. Did you hear any of the roundtable yesterday with Brent Selleck and Tim McManus?
I missed it.
Okay.
Good
One
or
of
bad?
the most fantastic things I ever heard was they were talking about some of the what one of the keys for the Eagles are this year, and it's getting the number 1 seed so they have home field. Because there are places in the NFC that can be really difficult to play, especially in playoffs. Obviously,
New Orleans.
Saints, a couple different places. Well, Brent Selleck said, that was one of the biggest keys for us during our Super Bowl run, especially, when we were playing the Vikings and, we had our fans. It was cold, and it was just a little bit even more fun to talk smack to them and let them know that we were about to go win the Super Bowl in their backyard and we could get them tickets if they wanted to. And I was like, stop, Brent, no, you didn't. And I was like, now let me think about it. Brent Selleck absolutely did.
Yeah, look, I look at the Vikings, and I see a team that caught some bad breaks last year. I think, the guys that left their team from last year, Sheldon Richardson really didn't do much for them last year. Latavius Murray was kind of a filling guy. I mean, you know who their back is. It's Dalvin Cook, and that injury early in the season when he was looking like he was about to take the league by storm was hurtful because for Kirk Cousins to have any success in this league, he needs pieces around him that keep the pressure off the winning the games off of him, And once Dalvin Cook went down, they became so one-dimensional that it was easy to beat that team. And that's where, that was a bad break. You had Rhodes had a torn ACL, Rhodes didn't have a great year. The young kid Mike Hughes has the ACL injury. These are guys that were playing well and were going to give them a lot of depth at positions of need, and they lost them. So, look, I am not a big believer in Kirk Cousins. I think this team
Last year you were a believer in Kirk Cousins.
No, last year I didn't think he was the worst freaking quarterback in the league like my wonderful partner over here.
I still think he is.
Oh, my God. Who's
anything.
worse, him or Dak?
Can we even make that
Winning.
decision? Who's worse?
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is worse than Dak. Stop it. No, stop it. All right, I'm going 9-7 for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going 8-8 because they're unbelievably average and will continue to be average as they were last year. Nothing's going to change.
All right, so then we move to last year's 12-4 division champions, the Chicago Bears. Look, Chicago's good.
You have them at third in the division, correct? The Vikings?
Yes.
All right.
Chicago's a good team. Okay, no doubt about that. I'm curious to see how the boy genius, the man genius there, in their head coach, does now that there's a book out on him. I'm curious to see.
Make them hit the post twice.
I'm curious to see
Rich.
how Mitchell Trubisky responds. They're putting a lot on a young running back at David Montgomery to go along with, why is the name not coming to my
Tariq
head?
Cohen.
Tariq Cohen. Because Tariq Cohen is not a 3-down back.
No.
Okay?
They utilized him as that a couple times
Yeah.
last year. And I mean, it worked out
I
fine.
think they actually fall back a little bit on defense. I don't think the defense is as stoic as they were last year. I just think they're going to take a step back. And I think their offense will probably remain about the same, which, let's face it, the offense wasn't this juggernaut last year. I still see them winning 10 games. I do. I still think they go 10-6. They're not going to be 12-4, not going to be 11-5. But what I do see is Green Bay winning the tiebreaker with them, whether it's beating them both times or splitting and having a better division record, whatever it takes. I just think the Bears will be a wild card team. But they're not a team that I look at and go, man, they are going to be good for years to come. Because, first of all, the outside, I mean, the receivers and things, I need to see more out of these guys before I get excited about the Chicago Bears.
Sure. I just.
You haven't taken a steady fall down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just because I think there's a book out on them. I think that they are not going to be as crazy good as they were last year. You know, and even then, you know, I mean, you saw that, you know, Nick Foles was able to pick that defense apart when he wanted to. You know, they weren't. I still think they're going to be good. I still think that the Lions are terrible. I still think that the Vikings are not good enough. And I think that, you know, they almost did they split with the Packers last year?
Yeah, because they lost the first game of the season after Rodgers got hurt and then came back in.
Right,
and
but
beat
then they
them.
won the second one?
Yeah, they won the second one.
So that's what I mean. Like, they could have won both, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that the Packers are just going to be a little bit better because they'll have a little more continuity, but I don't think that they're going to be I don't think they're going to be worlds better either.
I just think when Aaron Rodgers plays, Chicago cannot beat them.
Well, Aaron Rodgers did play.
Was he playing in that by the time they played Chicago the last time? I think when Aaron Rodgers is healthy and plays, they cannot beat them. I just, you know. But regardless, all right, so we're very close, except you just have Chicago winning a tiebreaker. I have Green Bay winning a tiebreaker. We both have Minnesota in third place and the wonderful Detroit Lions coming in.
In that game, Aaron Rodgers was 25 for 42 for 274 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Oof.
They lost 24-17.
He didn't throw for a touchdown. They only lost by 7. Wow. That tells me all I need to know. Green Bay's going to beat them twice this year. All right, we move on.
Oh, wait.
Good
Well,
job.
I mean, Mitch Trubisky was also 20 for 28 for 235 yards and 2
Well, yeah,
touchdowns.
keep in mind Green Bay's defense was horrible.
I don't see them being that much better. They're younger, but I don't think they're that much better. I don't know.
Well,
We'll see. We'll see.
we shall see. All right, Miss has the schedule in front of us. Where are we going? That's right. That's right. We are ranting and raving and tirading. Okay, and let's just introduce this. So every week, kind of here in the middle of the show, which is pretty much exactly where we are right now.
Yes, it is.
Because of Jess's wonderful timing.
Yes, it is.
She loves when I compliment her. We will each take a topic that for a couple minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, however long, we're going to rant about something that's really driving us nuts from that week, or maybe it's just from a long time and we just thought about
Just festering.
Yeah. And I had a couple things come up, but the one that I wanted to focus on today was the idea of this question. What is a prospect really?
Oh, boy.
Because in this town, you have all of these knuckleheads and all these idiots that are going to sit here and talk about, oh, my God, we can't trade the prospects. We can't trade them. Oh, my God, these prospects are gold. Oh, they got to come up. Oh, we can't trade the prospects. And I can answer very quickly. Dominic Brown. Kyle Drabeck. Who was the guys we got for Cliff Lee? The ultimate prospects. Oh, man, we traded Cliff Lee. Look at the guys we got who could never play for the Philadelphia Phillies. Do you understand what the definition of a prospect is? You know what? I just feel like looking it up. No, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to get it right here. We're going to go to prospect right here. I'm going to pull up the definition, and I'm going to read.
A person regarded as likely to succeed or has a potential customer, client, etc.
The possibility of something happening in the future. Which, guess what that means, ladies and gentlemen? There's also a possibility that nothing happens in the future. And I'm tired of living in a fan base where all we talk about is, well, we have to look out for the future. No. Stop it. Outside of guys like a Rhys Hoskins or a Bomb in this situation, okay? Every player the Phillies have in their farm system is tradable. Okay, we waited years because can't trade Dom Brown, can't trade him. And then we had a half a season of glory, and he's an all-star, and he's standing next to Cliff Lee. And then we never heard from him again because he stunk. He's still playing,
by the way.
Yes, over in the Mexican League. The biggest story about him was that he came to an Eagles-Dallas game wearing all his Dallas attire. The fact of the matter is a prospect is more unknown than anything in sports. Okay? It's more unknown than anything in sports. So I don't want to hear we can't deal the 19-year-old pitching prospect. Why? Go get another friggin' 19-year-old pitching prospect. Unless he's Steven Strasburg or unless he was a 14-year-old Bryce Harper, I don't care. And no one in the Phillies farm system, no one, not one, is a Steven Strasburg or a Bryce Harper. Not one. So if you have a chance to go get major league talent and you are in a playoff race, don't give me, we got to keep this farm system where it is. All I hear about is how bad we are. Stop with the prospect. Who cares? You sell a few, you replenish. Get better scouts. You got to try and win every single year. This isn't the NBA. Baseball is not a league where you have to trust the process and tank for 6 years to get back. Just like the NFL is not that. And really, I mean, hockey really isn't either. That's a basketball thing where you have to get out of purgatory. Baseball, you don't. Baseball, you don't. Stop worrying about the future. Worry about today. And stop giving me keep the damn prospects. Thank you.
I can't wait to hear your rant when it's 4 years from now and they suck and we've got nothing.
No, we will have stuff. Because Rhys and Bryce will still be here.
Harper.
And Rhys. Zip it over there.
What does Rhys's contract look like?
What do you think? They're not going to re-sign Rhys?
I just didn't know if he was already.
I think Scotty Jetpacks is still under contract.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, he's under contract for like ever. I don't even. He's. What the name?
Good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what any of this. I don't know what these. Rhys Hoskins signed a 1-year, $575,000 contract with the Phillies.
You know I'm right. You just don't want to give me.
2019, Hoskins will earn a bit.
You know I'm right. You just don't want to give me the.
Oh, okay.
The proper
So
credit.
next year, the team has control, and then his first arbitration year is 2020.
Okay.
I was just wondering. I genuinely didn't know.
No, I don't know either.
That's why I wondered. Like, I wondered if I had missed like them giving him the contract. Like, I didn't think I did, but I just wondered.
It's fair. It's a fair point. All right, Jess. Rob's rant is over. But now it's time for everybody's favorite part of every show we do. Because here's the thing. We might be calling this something now, but Jess has been doing this since we started doing the show over a year ago. Jess has a single tirade every show. Sometimes we save it for This Is Madness or something along those lines.
This gives me an opportunity to do it halfway through.
But now Jess could get this part done halfway through.
Well, I did.
And I'll tell you why.
I did one last week.
I'll tell you why I came up with this. Because 2 weeks ago, you so badly wanted to talk about Mitchell And we
I
kind of
still
ran out of
might.
time. And we kind of ran out of time, and you didn't get to go fully into it. And I said, I got to be able to give Jess her I swear to God. I was like, well, you know what? We could do something like this. So Jess,
Did you listen to my one that I did alone?
I only heard like the first 10 minutes. I was like, she is going to be a pistol.
Listen to the last 10 because they're better. The
right, so
last
gotta go
10
back.
is better.
I got to go back and listen.
Because, well, it was about that BS with Joel Embiid's girlfriend and Luka Taldi from last week. That's what I went off about.
You were unhappy. I was not getting involved. You were, not that I disagree with you. I was just saying, like, it struck you. I mean, that one got you.
Yeah, it got me, and I won't go into it again. You can go watch my.
I will just say the only reason that it got me was because it's a shame to watch a guy who has done so much for sports radio turn into a shock jock with his tweets.
Creepy old man. He's creepy and disgusting.
And that upset. Like, look, he's always been the creepy old man with the wing blowing up, but it's just now that he's tweeting it, it's coming off as I'm trying to shock everybody because he just sends tweets out all the time. Him and Howard Eskin. Now Howard did it
At least
about
Howard's a sports related.
Yeah, but Howard did it about Halle Berry like literally the week prior.
I don't follow either of them, so that didn't come across my timeline.
Yeah.
Someone, I don't know how the other one came across my timeline. But I was just really upset because it's something that, like, it's upsetting to me because of the arguments that I got, not necessarily defending him, but people genuinely not understanding what was wrong with it. That really made me upset because it just shows you what kind of society we really truly live in and how genuinely stupid about these kinds of issues people are. And stupid to the point where they don't care to learn or understand.
Right.
They just don't see what's wrong with it. Like, I talked about this on my rant last week, but the responses I got were, this makes you sound jealous. Sorry. Like, apparently I'm jealous that it wasn't a tweet about me.
You're jealous that Angelo Cataldi's not tweeting out pictures of you.
Apparently.
Oh, okay.
So it made me jealous. It made me sound soapboxy. It made me sound like an uppity man hater, told that I have issues and I shouldn't be on social media. And then my favorites were, this is probably why I can't keep a man, saying to the girl who with her boyfriend of 6 years that she now lives with. And then it was, oh wow, 6 years. No wonder he hasn't wifed you up yet. Did you ever wonder why? Well, we're 24. And then my personal favorite was, why don't you let men be men and stop crying? So it's not that people are like, I don't understand what's wrong with that. Could you explain to me why that upsets you? That's not what it was. It was, there's nothing wrong with it, and all of this makes you this. I'm like, okay. All right. And then my favorite part was, so I simply just quoted the tweet and said, this is disgusting. That was my response to it. And Sam Wilson responded and said to me, she just said, thank you. And so then someone jumps in and was like, oh, Sam, didn't you just, post pictures? Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Yeah, she did. And here's why. Because she liked the pictures. She felt good. And why the hell not?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't give anyone else the right to take them, post them for themselves, and compare her to someone else. That's not why they were posted, and doesn't give anyone the right to do so. And people could not tell the difference between that. And that was the biggest issue, that like people could only see like that she must want people to comment. She must want people to respond. She must want people to. No, she felt good. That's her right to do it. She looked great. Why not? It doesn't give someone who is 2 to 3. I mean, well, she's my age, so someone 3 times her age, the right to take the picture, post it, and say, is she hotter than whoever? That's the difference. And that's what makes it gross. Like,
I'm in total agreement.
Like, at the end of the day, like, is Joel's girlfriend a model? Yes. Is she is she in Sports Illustrated? Does she do runway? Yes. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't give anybody the right to take that picture of her, post it, and say, oh, is she hotter than the last person Joel Embiid liked in Rihanna? That's not right. Because that's insulting to Joel. It's insulting to his girlfriend. It's insulting to Rihanna. And it's insulting to their relationship. Yeah. Like, as a whole, like, It's just
Why
wrong.
even bring it up?
And then, God love Joel Embiid and his Empower Women shirt at that runway show supporting
Yes.
it's just fantastic. But I mean, it really just because someone who's done so much for the world of sports radio, which is, the world that we're kind of trying to enter over here. Like it's disappointing to me as a female in this realm, what happens there. And it's, and then, the responses, it's the responses I get on social media, and then, going back and forth with someone, and then they get upset and block me. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to get nowhere in life and probably live in your mom's basement for the rest of it and, be single forever. So, it's just, it's whatever. I just, it bums me out. And this is not what I planned on ranting about again, but it happened. And,
All right.
what are you going to do?
Was that your tirade, or is that just an off?
No,
topic?
it wasn't, but it's fine.
No, Jess. This is time for you to tirade.
Okay. I have a problem with this NFL Top 100 list again, and it's only just started.
I cannot tell you how much I was hoping you missed it when I saw that come out.
Okay, here's why. I'm going to tell you why I have a problem. I'm going to tell you why. In a year that he was coming off a torn ACL and had a broken back, Carson Wentz had a higher passer rating, higher yards per completion, higher completion percentage. And last year he was third. Now, I talked about it a lot last year, people who, were higher than certain Eagles players that I didn't agree with. And not even just Eagles players, just the way the list was ranked as a whole, I disagreed with a lot of it. And part of it was guys that, like Jimmy Garoppolo was ranked higher than Lane Johnson, and Jimmy Garoppolo barely did anything in 5 games. Now, and again, I said several times, now I'm not trying to implicate myself here by saying that, just because he's injured doesn't mean, detracts that he should be on the list. I'm not saying he shouldn't be on the list. I'm saying I disagree with where they were located. Carson Wentz, in his MVP caliber season, was ranked third. This year, he dropped to 96. What he did last season was not 93 spots worse than what he did a season before. And what makes it so disrespectful to me, what I see the disrespect coming in is it's voted on by other NFL players. So they can't see what Carson was dealing with and what Carson has done. They couldn't see past that to the point where, there are guys that Kirk Cousins could be higher on this list. Jimmy Garoppolo could still be higher on this list. You know what I mean? Like, there are players like this that could be higher because of that. And I don't understand how players around the league don't see what he is. And, I when I saw that this was going to start to come out again, I was like, you know what? You're not going to get upset the way you did last year. You need to ignore it. Because I expected Carson to maybe drop 20, maybe 30 spots, be in the middle, somewhere in the 50s. I would have been like, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. 96? That's almost not making the list. And if you do some math with it, 100 players on this list, 32 teams in the NFL. If you divide that and do some math, that makes Carson Wentz the 3rd or 4th best player on any team in the NFL. I could name you at least half of the teams in the NFL where Carson would be the best player on that team.
I agree.
And that's where this is flawed. If you look at it from that perspective, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I said this to you last year, and I'll say it again. I think the whole list is a stupid idea because I think the whole list is a flawed idea. It makes no sense. I don't know what you could do instead of it. Maybe it's the NFL Network just looking for some programming. And that's
people
why
like
they
me
do
to
it.
freak out.
getting a rise out of. Maybe they're going. Remember that girl last year? We're
You
gonna
wrote
piss her off.
17 articles about this.
We're gonna piss her off this year. We're gonna really talk about it. So, well, Jess, good job.
Thanks.
Good tirade.
I was annoyed.
I could tell.
But anyway,
All right. Where are we going, Jess?
we're going back to another divisional breakdown.
Another divisional breakdown.
Moving on to our next one, which will be the AFC South.
The AFC South. Okay. We'll play our music.
Excited. The AFC South. All right, so
Give us the background, Jeff.
the AFC South gives you lovely teams like the Jags, the Texans, the Colts. I'm missing one. Why is one not written down right here? Who else is there? The
The
Titans?
Texans?
The Titans. I said the Texans. The Titans. The Titans. I don't know why they just weren't listed here. I don't know why. I don't have a good answer for you. But to talk about it a little bit, so the Titans, they added a somewhat competent backup quarterback in Ryan Tannehill for all those inevitable times that Marcus Mariota gets hurt and cannot play. They added Roger Saffold, a guard. They also added Cameron Wake, which is a big pickup for them, and Adam Humphries. They lost Josh Klein and Quentin Spain, who are both guards. Obviously, they lost Blaine Gabbert, and then Brian Arakpo retired.
Derek Morgan, is he still a free agent?
I don't know.
I know that he was available. I don't know if he signed with anybody, but what I'm reading here is that he's still a free agent, and that's amazing to me. I didn't think.
Yeah.
I figured somebody would have signed the guy.
Oh, no, he's retiring.
Derek Morgan is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Former Titans linebacker Derek Morgan says he's retiring July 15th.
All right.
And
So very
there's
recently.
that.
So literally the day before my son was born, which is why I didn't know that happened.
Yes.
Okay.
I also didn't know that happened either. So,
Okay.
And then they
What's your excuse?
this article that I used was written before that.
Tennessee.
It's Tennessee, and they are beyond irrelevant to me.
Wow.
They drafted Jeffrey Simmons, who, if you remember, was the guy that the Eagles were rumored to possibly take, a defensive tackle. I want to say from
yes, he was a big
State.
boy.
He had some
D end
off the
or D tackle?
D tackle.
Yes.
He had. What did he have? Was it an off the field issue or was
Yes.
it an injury?
He
issue?
was I'm pretty sure he was the off the field issue. He wasn't the heart issue.
Montrez.
My guy, Montrez Sweat, had the heart
Sweat was
thing.
the heart issue.
He had.
He had a torn. His ACL was torn last year, but I feel like there was something else off the field that was questionable.
Yeah, and he might have been a top 10 pick. They thought, so they get him at 19. He's gonna be good for them. Where were the Titans last year? The Titans finished the year at 9-7. The Titans, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, this division is going to be legit this year.
You keep going. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm not even talking about the players yet. We'll do that as we break down each team. But you look at these four teams, and I know Jackson was 5-11 last year, but obviously our boy is in there now, and I don't expect Nick Foles to be, save the Jacksonville franchise, but I expect them to be a lot more competitive. This Tennessee team can play, and when they defend, and Mike Vrabel gets them defending.
He was arrested in high school on an assault charge.
Okay. When Vrabel gets this Tennessee team defending, they could be as good as anybody, especially if they can get a little bit more consistency from their offense. Obviously, the Colts under Frank Reich really took a step in the right direction last year. Healthy Andrew Luck really changes things for them. And then Houston, look, Houston's going to always kind of be there, and especially if Deshaun Watson comes back healthy. You know what you got on defense. You have DeAndre Hopkins. This division could end up being one of the better ones in football this year.
Yeah, and I mean, we thought that last year too. It just didn't pan out that way. But, like you said, the
Still
Colts
competitive, though. The three teams were still competitive to the end.
The Colts took a really big step forward last year. This year, they added Justin Houston, Devin Funchess, Spencer Ware. So a couple more things in there for Andrew Luck to play with, as well as they drafted Paris Campbell. So a couple fun things for him there.
I love the corner they drafted.
Which one?
Rock Ya-Sin.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's an awesome name.
Yeah, they drafted a corner, linebacker, two linebackers actually.
Yeah, they've gotten better defensively.
Yeah, they've gotten better.
And that was huge for them.
They lost 2 wide receivers and got 2 wide receivers. I mean, they had a pretty. They're going to be fine. And then when you look at the Texans, I mean, they didn't really do much to. I mean, they added a safety. He's not going to be anything to really replace a guy like a Tyrann Mathieu who they lost. They added a corner to replace Kareem Jackson.
But you're talking about guys that are NFL players that have played in this league, that have done well in this league, and Deshaun Gibson. Bradley Roby's a good player. They bring in a good left tackle, Matt Khalil.
I mean, what they need to worry about, they need to worry about protecting Deshaun Watson. they were awful last year.
Yeah,
they
and
were
you saw-
absolutely awful. And they drafted that kid, Titus Howard, who apparently Stoutland really, really loved.
Yeah. He was the one from Alabama State or whatever.
Yeah.
They drafted him. They drafted another offensive tackle, Max Sharping. So you could tell that they were definitely, between them and adding a Khalil, they were really looking to bolster that front on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
One of the issues I think they're still going to – I know that they like Lamar Miller there. I'm hoping maybe one of these younger running backs can, step it up. At this point, I'd like to see them build that place up. But listen, when you have a guy like Deshaun Watson who could just do so much on the football field, and you have a defense that's led by guys like J.J. Watt, and I guess Jadeveon Clowney is going to be there, no?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't know where that stands. I know it's been a little bit of a touchy subject. But,
It says Jadeveon Clowney in communication with Texans despite holdout. So I guess he is holding out?
Yeah, it's unfortunate Texans got sniped by the Eagles, who traded up one spot ahead of the Texans to grab Andre Dillard. They thought that would have been a lot better than the Titus Howard pick, just because Howard's more of a project.
Not attending training camp as he pushes for a new long-term deal.
Yeah, I mean, look, you lose a Kareem Jackson, you lose a Tyrann Mathieu. You have good replacements, not great replacements. Are we going to? Well, we're just talking about the teams now. We'll do our records in a minute, right?
Yeah. So this says basically, so Clowney didn't sign his franchise tender, so he's not subject to any kind of fines or anything like that for missing training camp. So they said they'd be shocked if he was going to miss any regular season games, but that doesn't mean.
But this can impact them because he's that important to that
Yeah.
defense. So you have to see how that whole situation plays itself out. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And then when it comes to the Jags with what they've got picking up and losing, obviously they add Nick Foles in there. They let Blake Bortles go. They added Jake Ryan, a linebacker. They added Chris Conley, and they added tight end Jeff Swaim. So like I said, they lost Blake Bortles. Obviously, they lost Malik Jackson as well.
Josh Allen is going to be a damn beast for them. The edge rusher they drafted.
Probably.
I mean, you put a
Offensive
fast
tackle.
guy that can get to the quarterback on that defense, who is just look, that defense is always going to be stout. Did they lose some pieces this year? Yes,
They lost a
they
lot.
absolutely did.
Dante Moncrief,
Yeah, you talk
Austin Safarian Jenkins, TJ Yeldon, Carlos Hyde, and right now Telvin Smith is holding out too. He's not coming in.
Telvin Smith is holding out. You lose Malik Jackson. You lose Gibson, who we were just talking about.
Right.
It's going to be an interesting situation how this defense rectifies these holes. They've attempted to in certain situations, but like I said, Josh Allen, that's a big get for them to bring him into this team. They're going to go as far as Nick can take them, and that's my fear for that team.
Did you see Jalen Ramsey roll up to camp today?
What the hell was that?
I don't know, dude.
Oh, my God. In the back of a Brinks truck with a guy with a microphone.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, Jesus. You say you're not going to do anything crazy this year, and then you come out and you do some stupid nonsense like that. Epitome of a jackass. Still, I'll take that jackass on my team any day of the week. Just putting that out there.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's start talking. The Jags were 5-11 last year. Look, they're going to be better. It's not Blake Bortles. You have running backs in the fold. You have T.J. Yeldon. You don't have T.J. Yeldon, but you have obviously Leonard Fournette. He has to stay healthy. Leonard Fournette has to stay healthy for this team. It is huge for them for Leonard Fournette to stay healthy. I still don't know what their wide receiver situation is. I just don't. Does Allen Hurns come back after Dallas releases him? I don't know.
They did release him.
Is it officially released? I know that they were talking about it.
He was released, and what's his face? The guy from Green Bay got released.
I saw that Mike Daniels got released. I don't mind having a fourth defensive tackle.
One from Jersey to go.
No. I like defensive tackles. I'm going to try and pull up their roster if you want to talk a little bit about your thoughts on them. Jacksonville.
I mean, I don't know what their roster is either. You're doing both of us a service over there right
You
now.
know, what would you do without me, Jess?
Oh my God, I don't think that actually just came out of your mouth. Did it?
Oh, it did, Jess.
really?
It did. They don't have a
Interesting.
depth chart up yet, you sons of... Never mind.
Just get me their wide receivers.
That's what I'm trying to do, but like
So,
they have
none.
they have the
Essentially,
names. They have the names in alphabetical order, so it's C.J. Board, Tyree Brad. Like they're not real guys.
You can definitely.
Keelan Cole, that's the one guy from last year. Chris Conley's in the fold. Tick, 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 tick.
They signed Terrell Pryor.
Raphael Leonard, Trey McBride,
Did they really?
Terrell Pryor.
So they've got
So they have Keelan Cole and Terrell Pryor so far.
Marquise
and
Lee,
Conley.
Chris Conley, D.D.
D.D.
Westbrook,
Westbrook.
DJ Chark, Keelan Cole. That's what I got for you. That's the depth chart I've got over here.
You got that. See, on their website, they don't have a depth chart up yet.
ESPN does.
Well, ESPN's just making stuff up.
Okay, I don't think that's necessarily true, but okay. So you can now you know who their wide receivers are. What is your analysis from this point forward?
Look, they're going to be better. I think they're a 9-7 team this year. I think they do make a jump, but I don't think they make this astronomical leap. I don't think Nick Foles takes them to a 12-4 record or anything like that. The defense will be good as always, but will the defense be locked down? I don't know, because they did lose some pieces, and you got to rebuild that continuity. So I'll go with Jacksonville at 9-7.
Yeah, and obviously looking at their schedule, because last year, I mean, they were terrible. So they've got, I mean, there are definitely some games on here that you look and you say, okay, they're going to lose. They play the Chiefs. They play the Saints. They play the Falcons. Obviously, they have to play the Colts twice. And they play the Chargers. So, you know, those are a couple games right there that you think they're absolutely probably going to take an L on those. They're probably going to split with the Texans. And there might be, you know, a game or two in there. I think 9-7 is pretty accurate for where they're going to go.
Because I'm smart.
Sure. What team we're just talking about? I'm just making sure we write this
The
down.
Jacksonville Jaguars. We're both at 9-7. So that takes us up to the Tennessee Titans, who last year were 9-7. Look, this team is always going to rely on Marcus Mariota's health. The guy's got to find a way to stay healthy, and part of that's on the offensive line. Hence Roger Saffold coming into play. Hence drafting another guard in Nate Davis. You know, the line has not been doing their job, but he also doesn't help himself out. I think their defense is going to be solid. I think Corey Davis, another year for Corey Davis is going to be huge for them, and I think that kid could be a real player for them. I think Tennessee sticks around that 9-7, but I'm going to give them one more win. I'm going to give them to a 10-6 record.
See, I don't like their schedule even more than I don't like the Jags schedule.
It's tough early.
It's tough early. I mean, there's a really
Browns, Colts, Jags, Falcons.
there's a really good chance they start that 0-4. Like, there's a really good chance they start the season 0-4.
I would have looked at that before I gave you my 10-6 prediction.
I'm gonna go with 8-8 for them, because so they start difficult early. So they've got the Browns, Colts, Jags.
I'm making a change.
They've got, because I'm smart, Browns, Colts, Jags, and Falcons. Then they play the Bills, they play the Broncos, but then they play the Chargers. They play the Bucks, they play the Panthers, who I don't think are going to be that good this year. They play the Chiefs, then they play the Jags again, play the Colts again. They play the Raiders, who, we'll see what happens with them. And, I
Give me
think
9-7.
now you're going to go 9-7.
I'm not going 8-8 because I refuse to give you that luxury of
That's
being.
fine.
Yeah.
And then they play the Saints at the end of the season as they're kind of trying to close everything out. And then they play their last game of the season is playing the Texans, and depending on how things go, that could be a do or die. And in that situation, I don't see
this
the Texans
division's going to beat the hell out of each other this year.
Oh, so much! It's going to be so fun.
It really is. Like you look, all their schedules are tough because you look 6 games on their schedule are going to be against each other. Like
Right.
I'm looking at the Colts right now. They're going to play 2 Jags, 2 Titans, 2 Texans, which makes it tough. And then when you talk about the fact that they are playing teams in this division like the Falcons, okay, they got to play the Falcons. All of them are playing them. They'll all play the Saints. They'll all play the Panthers.
Yeah, they play the NFC South.
So, I mean, it's going to be a tough go to get wins in this division, which basically whoever has won the most games within division is going to win the division. It's not always that, but I think it's really important to win your division games this year in the AFC South.
Yeah.
So with that, I'll go to 9-7 with them. All right, so we're on the Colts. Look, I love Frank Reich. I like this Colts team, and I think they'll be good. When you look at what they've done this offseason, they've gotten better on defense. No doubt about that. Okay, you bring in Justin.
What was their record last year?
They were 10-6 last year. I would love to say they're going to be higher than that, but I just think because of the division and because of the 10-6 is probably a good place to put them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put them back at 10-6.
I'm going to look at their schedule right now and see.
It's hard. I mean, it's as hard as the other ones because of what we're talking about.
Yeah, but, I mean, they still have a couple other ones in there that.
But, like, instead of playing the Browns, instead of playing the Browns, they play the Chiefs. Like, that's not any easier.
No, they all play the Chiefs.
Are they all playing? Are you sure they're all playing the Chiefs?
Yeah, they all play the
whole West.
Yeah, they play the West and they play the AFC West and the NFC South, and they each have a game from the AFC North.
Yeah,
so they play the Steelers
Steelers
instead of the Browns.
Not always the easiest thing in the world to do, especially
and they play
in Pittsburgh in November. You know, it's gonna be colder.
Yeah.
Look, it's not easy.
Yeah, I think 10-6 is a pretty good place to put them, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. And then that takes you to the team that won the division last year at 11-5. Really had to fight their way after losing Deshaun Watson in a practice. I mean, the guy got hurt.
They didn't lose him last year. That was 2 years ago.
Or 2 years ago.
It was the same year that Carson went down. Because we played Deshaun Watson literally on Christmas last year, or 2 days before Christmas last year. I was there. I watched it happen.
Why did I
don't know.
God.
You're all over the place. I would love to blame it on the fact that you haven't slept much because of a newborn, but you've already admitted that your newborn sleeps
but it's just
very well.
It's just having a newborn. But look, this team, they won 11 games last year. I think they can absolutely do that again. But I'm hard pressed to give any team in this division more than 10 wins.
Yeah.
Because of how hard it is. I think they go 10-6 as well.
I agree.
But I will give them the division. It could go either way. But I got to make a prediction. So to me, Houston Texans will win the tiebreaker with the Colts and will win the division. And I'm going to go with the X factor of a Deshaun Watson. Not that Andrew Luck's not a stud quarterback, but Deshaun Watson can just do so many things.
So I have them going 10-6, but I'm going to have the Colts winning that
so
tiebreaker.
Me and you, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing as the NFC North for us.
I mean, You look at these schedules, and like you just said, 6 games out of the year, they're just going to be beating the hell out of each other. And, those are going to be toss-ups left and right. You don't really know where that's going to go. Playing the AFC West really is no walk in the park. Having to play the Chargers, having to play the Chiefs, having to play. I mean,
and anytime you got to go out there,
what you're gonna
any of
play
these
with
teams
the
that have to go
Raiders.
out to Los Angeles or Denver
and granted,
or wherever.
for these teams, it's like half the distance that it would be for our team. Like you have to keep in mind, like if you're going from Texas, it's like a 4-hour flight.
Right.
Not even. It's like 3.5, maybe.
Right, I got you.
So it's a little bit different, but we don't know what the Raiders are going to look like this year. I honest to God have no idea. They could be really good. They could go 0-16. I have absolutely no clue. I don't think anyone has a clue.
Nope.
They play the Saints. They play the Falcons. Both are going to be good teams. Both are hard places to play if you have to go there. Yeah, there are going to be a couple games in here that are just toss-ups. So I'm less hesitant to give them more than 10 wins. I'm hesitant to give them less than 6 losses.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, it's really just going to come down to, I mean, their 2 last games on the same day, it's Colts, Jags, and Titans, Texans. So those games are going to be.
Love how the NFL does that.
That's going to, they sit there and do this like we do. They try to predict what's going to be the best matchup on the last day.
I love how they have it being divisional games.
That one I think is going to be won.
And I think they're all going to matter. I think all 4 games are going to matter because you're talking about, we have 2 teams at 10-6, one at 9-7, or I have 2 at 9-7, you have 9. That game's going to end up mattering in the long run for all those teams. So that's it. So we have broken down 2 more divisions, which takes us through 3, which means we have what?
We're almost exactly on time.
1, 2, 3. How many left?
There are 8,
3.
so 5.
Okay, that's how you do the math.
That is how we do math
All
around
right,
here.
excellent, excellent.
But I'm not here next week, so we'll do.
So
And then there's 4 weeks in August, and then September 4th.
I
is
thought you
the
were
last
saying there's
one.
4 weeks in August you're not going to be. I'm
Oh.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I won't be here the 31st. I'll be away.
Of August?
Yeah, and then we have August 7th, 14th, 21st,
You know,
28th,
who
and
do
then
you think you
September
are?
4th is the last week before the season kicks
How
off.
dare you
Then-
take these weeks off?
How dare I go on vacation for a few days?
Yes, but enough of that, Jess. Enough of that. You know what
Okay.
it's time for?
Hey, only for
Not that. That's an ad. That was
The build-up was
the
spectacular.
build-up was spectacular, and the
It
ad ruined
failed.
it. But now we're here. There it is. The unofficial start, actually the official start of the 2019-2020 NFL season. Philadelphia Eagles have reported to camp. We're just going to let this play. It's been a few months since we got to sing it.
I haven't heard this song in so long. I'm like giddy over it.
I have because my daughters will every now and again ask me to play this as one of the songs in the car.
Amazing.
Yes, indeed.
Love it.
I actually, during the newborn pictures, requested that little Luca today had a picture taken with his Carson Wentz jersey that I bought for 3 to 6 months so that it'll fit him for the season, draped over top of his sleeping body.
I saw the picture. It's spectacular.
Yeah, so
There also may or may not be a Super Bowl 52 champions football.
I
in
may
the
not have
picture as
brought that
well.
up for that one. But, you know, I had bought that jersey about a month ago and had it shipped to my parents just so, and I told my mom, don't open it. Just, I need to keep this here. Because mother didn't know. Dad knew. Mother did not know.
Gotcha.
Because Dad was on the phone with me when I opened the envelope in the very beginning back in February. And I had my mom bring it up to the hospital when they came to see Luca for the first time so that it was made very clear that, oh, yes, I knew. And, oh, yes, I was prepared.
Was Alyssa mad?
No, because
Because she told you that you could find out as long as you
our
didn't tell
plan
her.
was always, and she was there. She asked them to give me the envelope. But man, did I lie and say I never. And she told me she actually had looked at the envelope in my car, but I was able to reseal it with the tape that was on there so it looked like no one ever went in.
Huh.
And I looked at it 5 or 6 times because I wanted to make sure I was reading the right thing. So
They didn't just write on like a scrap of paper, "It's a boy," and seal it for you.
that's basically what it says. Baby is a boy. But I just had to read it, make sure I didn't
Hilarious.
read what I wanted to read and not what was actually there. And until I saw what makes it a boy
Yep.
in the
You didn't really
moment of
believe it?
birth. And not only that, I didn't even get to see it first because they had his back turned to me. So Alyssa and my mother-in-law saw it before I did. And then they were like, why are you not freaking out? And literally 30 seconds after Alyssa gave birth, I looked at her and went, because I've known since February. That was
Ay,
good stuff.
geez.
So the Eagles reported today. Everyone is in, including Darren Sproles, who the surprise signing of last week.
Is it that much of a surprise though? Like, were you that surprised?
I just assumed he was retiring. I really did. I just assumed that
I assumed he was going to show
retiring.
up. I
And-
assumed that they were just going to be like, yeah, what the hell? Come on.
And that was going to be it. You know, all it does is it basically tells Wendell Smallwood, most likely Josh Adams, and who's that other scat back that they drafted? Pumphrey.
Scott.
Pumphrey and Boston
Oh.
Scott. You're not going to make this team because you really have the 4 running backs there.
They're
Unless,
going to take 5 though. They took 5 last year and they took 5 the year before.
yeah, it's going to depend
They're going to take 5.
because they're going to have
They're
to
going to take
on,
5 because Darren Sproles is old and been hurt the last 2 years.
Yeah, but they're not going to get there. Here's your locks. Your locks are Howard, Sanders, and Sproles.
Yeah.
They're your locks. Clement, I would be stunned if Corey Clement doesn't make this team.
No, I think that it's going to be Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders, Corey Clement, Darren Sproles, and it's going to depend on preseason on who they take for that last one. I really think it's going to be either Wendell Smallwood or Boston Scott.
Well, and my guess would be Boston Scott, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're taking a 5th player out of position, he needs to play special teams,
Yeah.
and Boston Scott can return kicks.
That makes sense.
But you know,
Oh, they had Wendell doing that, didn't they?
but he sucks. But Boston Scott will have to show that he's going to be a serviceable
He has
kick
to show
returner.
it. That's the
what,
kicker.
what I love is at punt return, is it going to be Darren? Is it going to be Deshaun? Who's it going to be? We're going to have.
They should change it up every week so no one.
They
will
should do
know.
it every punt. It should be opposite.
You're right.
Just every
Phillies
single punt.
won.
Hey, 7 out of 10, baby. So that means
Vinny V, 0 runs earned over 5.2 innings pitched.
So they have only lost twice since Luka was born. Putting it out there, letting everyone hear it. They've won 7 of 10. Okay, you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for bringing this young man into the world. He's going to bring us greatness.
Anyway. Sorry.
Okay, sorry for that.
Sorry, I just got that notification that they
won.
and it was a big
So,
deal.
look, well, obviously in a couple weeks we'll do our big Eagles breakdown and get into the nitty-gritty, what we think should happen this season. There's a lot of excitement around this team this year. And part of that is the camaraderie of this team. You have a team that loves being together, that loves playing together, that loves subtweeting each other, right? You've seen it all off season. You saw Carson out in, where was he with some of the receivers?
Houston.
It was in Houston?
They were in Houston.
They were down in Houston. He was there with Nelson and a couple of guys. Not everybody. It wasn't
Matt
like
Collins is alive, apparently.
Yes,
they were playing ping pong.
It wasn't a big North Dakota trip like they did a couple years ago where the entire offense.
It was the
skill players
ones
went out.
you, I think, would assume.
Was Alshon there?
I don't know.
Because Alshon's been doing a lot of stuff around here. And Alshon has been saying all the right things the
love
last
Alshon.
week.
Who
I
doesn't
love Philadelphia.
Who doesn't love Alshon?
I want to play the rest of my career in Philadelphia. Lane Johnson.
He's like a less aggressive Mike Scott, almost.
Yes. Lane Johnson gave a great interview the other day.
That was really good.
This team gets what this city's about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's that endears me to them. When I look at the Phillies, per se, that's what endears me to Bryce and Reese because they get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drives me nuts about Nick Pivetta being a baby when he says, they made their decision. That's all I got to say. Or, things of that nature.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I look, call it naive, call it petty, call it childish of me. I want the team to understand where they're playing. And I don't question that with anyone on the Eagles from top to bottom. Not one guy. Not one guy on that team. They get it. They love it. They embrace it. They love that we boo. They love that we cheer.
They love it because here's the thing. No matter, and Brent Selleck was actually talking about this yesterday when he was on The Fanatic with Gargano and Martinez. What he loved about, so he grew up in Cincinnati, and what he loves about Philly compared to Cincinnati is no one is excited and passionate about the Bengals the same way they are about the Eagles here. Because the Bengals might start off well, or the season will start and everyone will be there, and as soon as they go downhill, no one's in the stadium anymore. Here, the Eagles could be, 2-10, in December, and they have 2 games left, and those seats will still be full just so people can voice their displeasure with the team. And that's what I've said this, we've talked about it. The players that thrive here are the ones that get that, but also understand that it's not because we're booing you, it's because we're upset with the way you're performing and we expect better and we care so much that we're still freaking here.
Why can't Ben get booed?
I'm sorry, in the middle of a playoff game?
There was nothing about that except for push a button.
There was
Push a
nothing
button.
about that made any kind of sense.
There was a big button here
There
that
was
said,
no, stop talking.
attack Jess.
Absolutely stop talking.
Attack Jess, and I attacked.
No, there was nothing about that made even remote sense. I said
attacked you.
when they were 2-10 in December, there's still fans there.
I
You're
just
talking
wanted to
about a
attack you.
playoff game.
I just got you all heated. That was my plan all along.
Oh, I have so many screenshots that I plan on using of people having things to say about Ben Simmons.
Well,
I
they're all
have so
stupid.
many. I have so many.
All the
screenshots.
morons who say his elbow's out. Shut up!
Apparently, everyone knows the exact mechanics of how
Well,
a jump
no,
shot
look,
works. Now.
they know what
because
they
here's the
know.
thing: they're upset that all of a sudden a video about a jump shot came out because they have nothing to argue about anymore. So they're just going to the first thing
No,
they
what
see
they
or
know
hear on
is
the
what
internet.
they know is back in the day when Pistol Pete Maravich played, there was a form. Nowadays, the form is not as important as the confidence in the shot and your whole body. This doesn't matter as much the elbow as it used to. Like, yeah, all those training videos that show shots like that were made in the 80s when the game was different. Okay, when the game was different.
I don't give a rat's ass. Come June, Ben's going to be in the MVP conversation, and I'm going to be putting a lot of people. I'm going to be outing a lot of people, putting a lot of people on blast all over the internet because they deserve it.
Good news. Via sources, TNT will no longer air the players-only NBA broadcast.
Thank God. That's the best
Lord.
breaking news. That's the only breaking news and the best breaking news we've ever had while we've been recording. That's the best news I've heard all day.
Oh, another reason why the Phillies need to say, hey, you know what? We probably should keep playing for this thing. Over the last 3 games, their bullpen, the much maligned bullpen who we've ripped a lot of.
Yep. They've been playing well.
16 in the third innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 19 Ks. They're starting to come around. Guys could be getting healthy.
All we can hope for. Although Tommy Hunter had season surgery.
Yeah, but maybe David Robertson ends up coming back one of these days.
Oh, yeah, forgot about him.
He should probably come back at some point.
We hope.
What else you got on the? Are you just happy the football's back?
I'm just happy. I'm just happy. Remind me to ask you a question about football after this recording.
Oh.
Don't let me forget.
Okay.
Just don't let me forget.
I will not let you forget.
Yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited.
Now.
We had one of our friends came and spent the weekend with us, and we had to go pick him up. Unfortunately, he's from Boston. Well, unfortunately for him. But we had to go pick him up from the airport, and his flight was delayed. So he was supposed to get in at 10:30, and he didn't take off from Boston till 12:20.
Because they were probably partying another championship.
No, that wasn't it. They just lost the most recent one. So,
Fair.
And weren't really in contention for the one before that. So,
Oh, okay, thanks.
But anyway, he came down and we went to go pick him up. We were going to go get cheesesteaks after we picked him up from the airport, which we in our mind was like, yeah, it would be like 11 o'clock, awesome little cheesesteak run. So we leave our apartment at 2 to go pick him up, and we had to. There's construction on 76, so the easiest way to get to the airport. So we had to get on 95, but we went right by the stadium at night with the bird on the side, and I was just like against the window, like I just can't wait back here.
I'm super excited.
I got my cheesesteak, and it was delicious.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, as I think I've mentioned on here, I'm only going to half the home games this year. But I have told myself that I'm going to make it over for more tailgates, even on the games I don't go to. Just come hang out with my Madness partner, and we'll hang out.
I'll be there. I'm so excited. I didn't get to participate in the home opener festivities last year because I was working with Sunday Night Football. So I'm excited to be there and be jumping around.
I haven't chosen which games I'm going to yet. I got to take a look and make that decision. But I'm excited just to get it back and have things to talk about every week concerning the Philadelphia Eagles. And as training camp moves along, they start with a light workout tomorrow. When we come on next week, we'll do our divisional breakdowns and talk about some other stuff. But, we'll get into what are we seeing at Eagles training camp, what's going on, maybe try and get a guest to come on, talk a little bit of Eagles. Definitely a couple basketball guests I want to start trying to work. We also have a new segment we're hoping to get started, right, Jess? The one we were talking about, we'll bring it up.
Yep.
Where, kind of talking more, kind of goes hand in hand with me talking about watching women go through labor and how I am now even more of a women's rights activist.
As you should be.
So, all right, Jess, we got about 17 minutes left. Should we go into This Is Madness?
We shall.
I have a feeling you have a lot today, Jess.
I have a couple interesting ones.
All right, Jess, why don't you get us started with This Is Madness?
So this is just really funny. So yesterday I'm sitting working and just, going through my day as usual. And I get this text message that says, check in now for your United flight to Houston. First of all, I don't fly United. That's step one.
Okay.
2, I was not flying to Houston. So I clicked on it. So some person put the wrong phone number in for their flight reminders. So I got that one at 11 in the morning. Last night I got reminder that your flight from Denver to Houston departs at 8:50 p.m. on July 23rd for flight status updates, go to, and then gives the link. And then again, we're now boarding to Houston. We look forward to seeing you on board soon. I'm like, I hope this poor
Oh, boy.
SOB
I
doesn't
hope he
miss his
got on.
flight because he put the wrong phone number in. If you can't put the right phone number in for your reminders, I don't know if you can trust yourself to get on a plane on time.
Yeah, I'm questioning if that man made the flight, although I feel like you would have got another reminder saying we are still waiting for you to board or something along
They
that
don't
line.
care. You already paid for your flight. They don't care if you get
Well,
on
you
or
know
not.
that there's a website that actually takes advantage of that to get people cheaper flights, right?
Which
Have you ever
one?
heard that?
No.
Skip Lagged, it's called. It's
No,
an app.
I haven't.
So Skip Lagged, it doesn't work for every flight, but like you might be flying somewhere and they will book you a ticket. So to just, say I wanted to fly to Miami.
Okay.
Okay. And I type in this Skip Lagged and I want to do that. Well, they might have a flight that's going from Philadelphia with a layover in Miami, and then it's going to Orlando.
Okay.
And they book you that trip. They tell you, go book this. It'll cost you this much money, and it could be $100 cheaper than just flying direct to Miami. So you book it, and then you just don't go. You don't get on the connecting flight. Just walk through the airport. And you've probably been there when they're calling someone's name. Is there a lot of the times what's happening is that people are booking their flights this way.
Yeah.
So the airlines caught wind of this a few years ago and took it to the Supreme Court. And they lost. The airlines lost. They said no.
Huh.
They said stop. Basically, if you guys are going to charge the enormous rates that you're going to charge, there's nothing wrong with people doing this, and it costs them a seat on their plane. I've used it once where I flew home from Chicago, and it was like I don't remember where the connecting flight was going, maybe Boston or something like that. I got off my plane in Philly. You got to do a carry-on, obviously. You can't put your bag under the plane.
Right.
And you have to be careful. Like, if they try and check your bag, you're screwed. So, like, I would buy the $15 for priority seating so I'd get on right away.
Yeah.
Put the bag up, and you just walk off the plane, and that's it. Pretty amazing stuff.
Interesting.
But that guy probably missed his flight, so that's a shame.
Yeah. Shame for that guy.
Yeah, oh well. Mine just happened this afternoon.
Can't wait. Is this why you were late?
No.
Oh.
Furkan Korkmaz to a 2-year friggin' deal, Elton. I have sat here and told people to trust the brand. I'm getting a shirt made in your name.
I've been so supportive of everything you've done.
And you're
to this
giving me a
point.
2-year deal for Furkan frickin' Korkmaz? Go give Thabo Cephalosha a league minimum. Don't bring me back, Furkan. Come on, man.
Just horrible.
Now, someone brought up a good point to me today, and it doesn't make me accept this move. We said we wanted shooting. That's the only thing he can do.
Well,
But he's not very good at it.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
That's supposed
My
to
heart
be the
broke
only
earlier
thing he
this
can
week
do.
when Kyle Korver went to Milwaukee.
I was upset.
And then I said, okay, well, at least Thabo's out there. Just go get Cephalosha and let him be that guy. But no! Furkan Korkmaz?
Ow.
Furkan?
You're supposed to be in charge of the thing over there.
Furkan? Better?
Yes.
I yelled there.
Thanks.
All right. Come on, man. I can't get behind that move. I can't. He can't play. He can't play. He can't play. In that situation, and initially I disagreed with you, but if that's who you're giving that contract to,
You might as
then
well
it should have
give it to
been
Mario
Mario Shyok.
That's what I'm saying. If they were going to get Korver, if they were going to,
If you were going to get a proven NBA vet, fine. But if
that's
not,
fine. But if not, it was a waste of that two-way. And they should have just given him the contract anyway. They can convert it at any point in time, but they should have just given it to him.
now you only have one roster spot left that can go to somebody for a vet minimum.
That's a terrible.
You and Trey Thomas going to get tequila, huh?
Yeah, apparently Trey Thomas and I are gonna go hang out and get a drink, which is fine because Joe's not coming home until later.
Huh?
Sad. He told me yesterday. He was like, "Oh, I won't be home for dinner." I was like, "Awesome.
This
I'll
is
eat
called the
alone."
life of
I was
living
like,
together.
I guess
you know?
I'll eat
What's he
alone.
supposed to always come right home now?
Yes.
Oh, you better get over yourself.
Well, if I'm cooking, yeah. I was like, oh, I guess I'll just have leftovers and
Why did he say? Oh no, that was somebody else. I
Yeah.
thought-
Um,
I was like, what does that even mean?
yeah, whatever. It's fine. He had to do he has his like an orientation week this week for school stuff.
This
So-
other person?
No, Joe.
Oh.
So he's doing that, and then they have like a new hire dinner tonight or something. And I was like, oh well, I guess I'll just be alone with our guinea pig
And your tequila.
and my tequila apparently.
Have a great night with that.
I will. That'll be great. What I did just find out though is Sam Wilson's moving to an apartment like literally down the street from me. So her and I are gonna hang out. We're gonna be friends.
As you should.
But yeah.
What else you got for me?
Did you see the thing about the Pennsylvania school lunches, the Philadelphia school lunches?
Listen, I've seen a couple little, but I have no idea what the story is.
I will
No.
tell you.
Okay.
So the Philadelphia schools sent notes home to the parents that said if you can't, so basically what happens is if the kids run out of money in their account at school, they don't give them lunch. They cannot give them lunch. Okay, that's the first issue. The school then sent notes home to the parents saying, if you don't pay these balances and put money in your children's account so that we can give them lunch, we're going to have them put in foster care because you are neglecting your children. Well, there's what I forget what there was some company, the CEO offered to give the school like $22,000 to cover all the costs of lunches for all the kids for the year, so none of the parents had to worry about it, and they turned it down. The school turned it down and said no.
And is this one school or it's entire?
I think it's Philadelphia, like the Philadelphia school district.
Okay.
How dumb is that? Because think about it. Like, I mean, you work in a school. I don't know how things work there, but like when I was little, if you didn't have enough money in your account, you didn't eat. Like they wouldn't give you lunch. And like that's not okay. Like I get it if people are like trying to take advantage of it, but like people have people come from different situations. Like you don't know what this child is going through, what their family is going through, if they're trying to make ends meet here and they can't, they literally just like, or if they just like forgot, you know what I mean? Like they were like supposed to, or the kid like left their lunch money on the counter at home. I did that before. Like you're
Many
supposed to
kids
bring
do
money
that.
in, I leave it on the counter at home and then you don't eat lunch. And then like you get home and here's the thing, like I know a lot of kids have cell phones now, but all of them don't. They can't just be like, oh mom, I forgot my lunch money. Could you drop it off? Like it doesn't, you don't know what's going on. And this person offered to pay thousands of dollars so these kids didn't have to worry about it and these parents didn't have to worry about it. And the school says no.
It's
What kind of dumbassery is that?
well, it's the state of education across this country. A lot of these schools are just making poor decisions. They say they're making them for the kids, and they're going totally against making them for the kids. They're all they care about is this, and you know they care about getting as much as they possibly can, and it's disgraceful. I'm in agreement with you on that. Before I get to my next one, you know, I snapped about the Sixers not using second-round picks. Now I'm even more pissed because I'd rather have guys you could have gotten in the second round than Furkan freaking Korkmaz on your bench.
I'm
Sorry.
with you there. No disagreements from me. None.
What is my next one? I don't even. I can't think of it. You got another one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. This is what happens when you don't write anything down.
Joe and I really want a puppy.
Oh boy.
But we're going on a couple trips this year. So we like before Christmas, so we know that we can't get one before then because it would just be a lot there. So we're planning on getting one next summer because obviously he'll have summers off from teaching, so he'll be able to be home, train the puppy, help train, whatever. So I'm trying to push that up to like earlier. It's probably not going to work. We'll probably end up doing it around then. But the other night we sat on the couch for like an hour just looking at puppies online. And there was one that I completely fell in love with. And the FBI agent in my phone has taken to putting ads for the websites I was on my Facebook every time I go on it, and specifically that puppy. Like that puppy specifically is the first one every time. And it upsets me greatly, but I also just think it's insane that that's what my phone does. Like your phone does that to you. And now I see this adorable little
Just
puppy's
showing up in
face.
your face every time.
Yes, and it's so cute. It's sad.
I'm trying to think of anything that had to do with a baby being born, and like the baby's been good, so I can't really complain about that. But I will say this, because I only stayed one night at the hospital this time, because obviously I had to get home to the other two. But I want to know why the hospitals, knowing damn well that someone is going to stay with, well, a lot of the time someone's going to stay with the new mother on the first night. Why they can't, they had a recliner that you like had to like, it was like a transformer to turn it into a bed. And it was about this narrow, and I've lost some weight, but it was super narrow. Now, granted, I had basically gotten about an hour of sleep over a 36-hour window. So it really didn't matter. I was going to sleep no matter. I could have slept on the linoleum floor and probably been passed out. But I mean, like, just give a comfortable bed to the people. And why are hospital beds not comfortable? Alyssa is in pain and she can't get comfortable because it's stupid. What do people do in a hospital? They lay in the bed. Can you not spend the money on the bed?
I think they should spend the money on the bed before they worry about making you comfortable.
No, damn it.
Nobody
Worry
cares
about me.
you. Nobody cares about you.
I mean,
In that
I felt good.
situation,
I felt
nobody
great.
cares about
It
you.
didn't matter. I passed the hell out. She woke me up to one point because that first night he only got up twice. Apparently, the second night when she was there by herself, she actually asked the nurse to come and take him out because she couldn't get any sleep. And then our first night home was a little rough, but he just wanted to feed, consistently.
Hungry, man.
Yeah, and then once the milk and all came in and all that jazz, then she's had to wake him up every night. And last night, we put him in about 11. 6 a.m. she woke him up.
Wow. Good for her. That's awesome for you guys. I hope it stays that way.
I do too. All right. Well, that'll do it. We're done.
We're done.
We're done with this one. This one's over and done with. Good first episode back. We're not here next week. Well, I might do a video like you did.
You can even come in here and do one.
I can. I just got to see if when I'm not at school, it's so hard to drive here. It's like a 45, 50-minute drive.
And I'll be in the Outer Banks next week.
Ooh,
We're going with our friend's family. We're going down there. Apparently, they're doing mustaches and Speedos, the boys are. So pray for me real quick while you're at it. Because it's me, and then...
That should have been a This Is Madness.
Oh, I'll have a picture next time I'm here. We'll see. I literally, like, the Speedo, I was like, all right, like, we can make our peace with that one. Joe was like, oh, and mustaches. And I was like...
Wait.
Ew.
I would have said the opposite.
Ew.
Just me.
No, the mustache is bad. And it's all of them. It's like Joe, Rob, and then Rob's brother, and then one of our other friends from high school, and 2 of Rob's friends from college. And I'm like, that's 6 of you in Speedos with mustaches. It's just going to be rough.
Well, you enjoy that. You enjoy the Outer Banks. I'm going to enjoy a child. We'll be back with all the news in the next couple weeks. Embrace the madness, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you maybe next week.
Parody of ecstasy. I was inches from the edge, fingers clinging to the ledge again. I never thought I'd win.